Hello, today we're going to look at what really happens to sound when it's recorded to tape versus recorded digitally. Hi, I'm Ulf at HoboRec Recording Studios and YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, feel free to do so. And if you'd like to work with me, pay a visit to my website at hoborec.com. And there you can listen to some of my previous work and also contact me via the contact form. Yeah, so in today's video, I'm going to show you what happens to the audio when it's transferred to tape. It's actually kind of cheating because it's recorded into the computer first and then I transfer it to tape afterwards. So it's not really tape versus digital, it's more like what happens to the sound. And we're going to look at the sound waves and a little bit like that. And also maybe compare it to tape plugins and see if there's any big difference. Yes, so I have imported a couple of drum tracks here to make a little demonstration, and I just want to give heads up first that I am fully aware that this is not a very scientifically correct comparison or anything. I just want to show some things that I found that I think make sense, at least for me. I really enjoy recording to tape, but a lot of the time bands don't have a budget for it. It's not just the most practical way to do it, so if I get the chance, a lot of times I transfer from Cubase to tape as sort of at the premix stage, and then I'll mix it from there. I found that I usually think the mixing process is a lot easier, and it seems easier to make things fit together, and I don't have to work the sounds as hard to make it come together as a unit. I just want to have a look here at the sound waves and show you something that I found after comparing this that I think makes sense in this. If you look here at the kick track, first one here to the left is just drums recorded straight to the computer. You can see the transients are all over the place. I mean, it's kind of stable, but it's relatively all over the place if you compare it to the bunch of tracks in the middle here, which are from the tape and back, where you see it's looks almost compressed, but it doesn't sound compressed. It sounds basically the same, and that's also one thing I never want or expect the sound to change drastically when I transfer it to tape. It's just very subtle and makes things easier to mix, at least for me. The transients here on the kick track has a lot more variation, so we kind of cut that off, so you don't maybe need to limit as hard or compress as hard to make it fit. And also you check the snare track, it's the same, and you can see the two tom hits in this short section. And you can see especially the second tom hit there has a really big transient peak compared to the files in the middle here, which are from the tape. But if we also look at the middle part, the bleed should be the same volume, because I've spent some time with these files to like level match them. It's not perfect, I know, but I've done it as close as possible, and you can see the bleed between the different takes here are basically the same as far as looking at the tracks, but have more been listening to it. And you can also see the same on overheads. It's a lot more spiky and a lot of variation compared to the files that are transferred to tape. This is one of the big reasons to why I think it becomes much more easy to mix tracks after transferring them to tape. After looking at this, I also wanted to see what happens if I put a tape emulation plugin on the digital tracks. I have used some tape emulations through my days, and I never felt that I got the same result from it. I mean, I use it sometimes for like sound design, if I want to distort something, or like more like a sound effect, but that's not what I use my real tape machine for. So of course there's a place for plugins here too. I bounced all the tracks through a well-known tape emulation, and as you can see here far over to the right, it's the same dynamic range on the transient. Not much has happened. Looks like a little bit on the top of the kick drum, like the positive side of the waveform has been cut off a little bit, but the negative side is pretty much the same. And also if you look at the overhead tracks and the tom, and yeah, basically everything just looks the same. So I'm not sure what the tape emulation are emulating, if it's just saturation and tone balance, like putting a little bit more low end to it, I guess. I'm not sure, but I'm definitely not getting the same result from using plugins when I'm after this type of result. But just to make it a little bit interesting, I thought we're just going to listen to the 3 examples here, and as I said before, the differences are not that huge, but I think it's there. I believe it's to the real tape machine's benefit. But I'm gonna leave it up to you to judge that. The big reason, as I said, is that I really think it gets much easier to mix, not that it sounds hugely different. As always, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to leave comments and questions, whatever you like. Also, don't forget to subscribe and share the video if you like it. And see you next week. Bye bye. Cheers.